Hey guys, so last week on Taboo Tuesday, we talked about penises. We talked about how there's a lot of different sizes and shapes and variations, but most importantly, I want to talk about the flip side, because penises are talked about a lot, but what's not talked about are vaginas. And I want to talk about the labias, specifically on a vagina, because those get a lot of hate, they get a lot of shame, not only from individual people, but from organizations and from governments even. So the labia, basically there's two parts. You have the majora, or the outer part of the labia, and then you have the minora, or the inner part of it. And essentially they act as kind of the doorway into it. And so what happens, sometimes the labia minora is bigger than the labia majora. And it's completely normal for that to happen. So what happens is you have the labia actually sticking out of the labia majora. Now, this is where kind of the shaming comes in, and this is completely wrong because this is a perfectly normal part of your body. And the labia minora comes in a variety of different shapes and colors and textures. They can be big and puffy, they can be thin, they can be really smooth, they can be wrinkly, they can be kind of wavy, they can also be all different colors. They can be like a normal fleshy color, they can be pink, they can be brown, they can be all other, combinations. They can be two-toned. One can be bigger than the other. They can range from smaller like this to bigger like that. I mean, they can go from actually like this. So you're looking at, there's a huge range between, I had a ruler, I was measuring. There's a huge range that they can actually go. The thing about it is that there's an infinite number of possibilities of how it can look. And the problem is that this is a normal thing that happens on the body, but people treat it as abnormal. Penises are one thing. You have large, you have small, you have different sizes, and that's really what most people look at. With the labia, people don't look at it that way. People look at it as right or wrong sometimes, and that in itself is wrong, because you look at places like Australia, who actually have laws that say a labia minora, if it's bigger than a labia majora, if it sticks out, it is obscene. It is obscene, for porn even, and everything else. That is crazy. It's crazy for a government to say, you as a woman have a obscene body that is naturally occurring. Right? It is absolutely insane that a government can actually have that. And especially in a place like Australia, where you kind of expect them to be a little bit more progressive and a little bit more accepting of things. And you have things like porn, which basically they highlight the lack of labias to the point where they actually can force porn actresses to cut it off, which makes me cringe to even think about it. And so you have all these things. You have some governments, you have porn, everything else, and it creates this really bad mindset. I have actually confronted 5 complete strangers, complete people who I had no idea who they were, who I heard them saying things like roast beef and meat sacks and meaty lips and things like this to another person, putting them down, and I completely went off on them. And a complete stranger, I just let go on them for shaming somebody else about their vagina. Then there's a situation where I was with friends. There was 4 of us. There was me and a friend, her sister, and her sister's boyfriend, essentially. And her sister's boyfriend was making fun of her sister about her labia. Now, granted, I really didn't know the sister and the boyfriend that much, but the moment he did that, I went off on him. I just went off. It was bad. It was the middle of a cafe, and I ripped him a new one. I was like, this is absolutely insane, because he's telling his girlfriend that her body is not right. And that is not acceptable in any situation. And what ended up happening, not only was she thankful, because she had never had anybody stand up for her, and she felt herself that there was, something wrong with her. My friend, who I had no idea, was also in that situation, where the boyfriend of the sister also made fun of her. And so basically this guy was being a douche to both of them. And, she ended up breaking up with him after this, because she was like, I don't have to accept this. This is my body. You can't tell me that I'm there's something wrong with me, kind of thing. So that was good. I was just shocked to know that there was two women who their entire lives have been shamed. Now I've had other friends who are in the same situation too, but their entire lives they have been shamed about their body, and that is not correct. Now I'm gonna leave you guys with a documentary and a website to go check out. This guy over in the UK basically took hundreds of women and made little sculptures out of their vaginas and has an art display. And it's a really cool kind of documentary because it shows you just how different vaginas are. So I'm gonna put that here. Go check it out. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'll put the website down in the doobly-doo as well. Let me know what you guys think, any experiences or thoughts on the subject. If you have anything to contribute for maybe a new Taboo Tuesday in the upcoming weeks, let me know your ideas down below. Facebook, Twitter, all that's down below as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Adios.